It was 2019, and exactly in this time of the year, actually, middle end of May, starting in June. And at that time, I traveled to Washington with my ex-boyfriend, and we visited Robert Scheinfeld and learned about his teachings, UFE, Ultimate Freedom Experience. And I don't want to talk about this teaching today. You can actually Google him, Robert Scheinfeld, and you get all the things on your own. But I heard in his 5-day intensive in one-on-one, not a one-on-one, it was 1 to 5 in his villa, in his big house, personally. I learned about this concept of being ridiculous happy. Just being happy as right? And feeling that again and having this memory and being aware of my feelings at the moments, I get just the water in my eyes. I feel so happy at the moment. There is no sense behind that. It's not if you think, oh, it's because she's living in Dubai or because she has a lot of money. I don't. Or she is probably in love. Yes, in my life, in myself. Whatever you think, it's probably not that. And if you want to share your thoughts, please put it in the comments. I'm very curious about that. It's just without reason. And in the same time, there are reasons. And I want to stick with you with about that in this video. Because I remember so good. And it's especially at that time in 2019 when I went to Washington to Robert Scheinfeld. I had so many years experience with conscious with me moments. I already taught that to my clients. Of course, I practice it as well since years, already decades actually. Meditation, everyday yoga and all the stuff. Being conscious with me, expanding my awareness, doing the development, inner leadership part, and everything, right? But going to this man, to this teacher, and listening and I tell you, sometimes I thought, is he crazy? And now I have just a good love about that because I can understand him so much better in the meantime. And this was actually foundation. Hi, someone is live here. Say hello, please. This is actually a foundation for all the years after 2019, which was so important for me, for my own development, but also for my clients' development, because I got a new a new point of view, a new possibility to literally experience new horizons, new ways how to perceive life in general, how to perceive my life, how to conduct and lead my belief system, and actually realizing that I really was in a victimhood. I did not realize it. I did not realize it. I would swear at that time I would not be in a victimhood, but I was. And realizing that, admitting it, feeling the feelings, and then go with this bigger, wise, I don't know what it is, awareness, right? Hi, Barbara. So nice to have you. I'm just doing the work again and again, and it's never stopping. But I learned with Ultimate Freedom Experience that there is a possibility to break through in literally, I call it now a new dimension. But it's actually, as I know more in the meantime about the dimensions, that we not only have the 1, 2, or 3 dimensions, but also the fourth dimension is all the perception of energy with spirit world and living beings. I actually made some videos about that also in the live stream challenge. Go back and grab them. And the 5th dimension, all about the expanded awareness, about learning to know more, to deal with this expanded knowing without nurturing ego, without proving something to someone or whatever. And then I also learned about the dimensions about after the 6th, and I'm still in the learning process. But going with this ridiculous happiness without reason, I actually had the first experiences with that right after the education with Robert Scheinfeld in 2019 summer. And there is a lot about detachment. Detachment having a meaning about the things. Instead, learning to observe and to feel the feelings. I really don't talk about the disconnection like I just forgot the professional word about that. Perhaps it's coming again. It's not that. You are not disconnected and it's an observation mode and you still feel the feelings and experience life. But you learn to observe it and not to be it. You learn to observe it and not to identify yourself with the situations, with the feelings, with the emotions, with what others are telling you, other judgments, other timelines and stuff. You just observe. You learn to observe. Kurt Tepperwein actually also talks about that a lot, and I have a lot of shorts with him and a most beautiful conversation with him, which I had the honor 5 years ago. It's already 5 years ago. Oh my God, to have with it. He teaches that as well. And one of his over than 200 books he published in his life was my first book in my early 20s, which actually guided me into the world of mindset shifts, belief systems, and that I actually have more in my hands than I ever thought. But this ultimate freedom experiences gave me the possibility only a few weeks after this education to realize I never had it in such an intensive raw of hours to be ridiculous happy without reason. And normally we know this happiness for a moment, right? Or for a situation like birthday and friends are coming, and even then we are together for a few hours, but it's going up and down. And in the best case, up and down and up and down, but it's not something we experience like it's holding the energy of happiness for hours, days, or even weeks, or even months. I never had this in my system. I never had this in my belief system as well, because I never experienced it. I never was witnessing that in my parenthood, in my my family, my foundation family, my siblings, my education situations, and everything, every environment I actually went through. Never, never, never I witnessed that. So it was literally not possible in my mind. That's how it's going on this earth, having a human experience as a enlightened soul, right? But it was like Robert Scheinfeld would open the door. And it's very funny because one of his logos was a door, just a door opening to the horizons, to the sky, endless possibilities, right? It was like opening the door. And in the summer after that, I literally had a row of, I think it was 2.5 days, something, where I just was as happy as today. And now I experience it already a few weeks. And sometimes I could even not hold myself. Sometimes I had so big laughs, sitting on my couch and just laughed without a reason. I could not share it with anyone because no one would understand, right? Sometimes I made a little video like a few hours before to my ex-boyfriend. We are still very, very good friends. He's actually my best male friend. I sent him a video and just laughed. And he would understand. Some of my clients also. Right, Barbara? So today I felt I must tell it. I must share it with you because it's time to talk about this. It's time. It's the new age is here since a while. And I remember I also talked about a new age in 2018, 19, 20. But it's not the same anymore. It's really a new age since, yeah, 2 or 3 months. And since a few weeks, it's more intensive. It's more deep. And it's literally like more true. And I know not everyone is experiencing that. I actually had a very beautiful conversation a few hours ago, also here on YouTube, on the channel of a dear friend. She is manifestation coach, and she is not just telling blah blah, she is actually doing it, and she went through tough and rough times, and I'm admiring her so much. She had literally the worst experiences. As a human, we don't want that. She went not only through and survived, but she also manifested her most desired life. And that's why she has a credential as a manifestation coach, not only for her, but also for her clients. And I saw a very beautiful video about with her and wrote something, which I forgot what, but it hit my heart. And I wrote something to acknowledge it. And another lady answered to this and asked me things. And it was exactly about that. Why? How is it possible to look back and to feel the feelings without falling back, without going back in a drama, without attracting then even more of these bad things? How is this possible? And it's exactly that, what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, the detachment, learning to observe and to remove the meaning. This was a sign, this was a movement of Robert Scheinfeld. He always taught, this is the raw experience. Imagine this is the raw experience. And we always put some meanings, some judgment over the raw experience. But if we remove that, we just can perceive the raw experience. That's it. We don't judge. And when we go back to the idea, we are here as a blessed, enlightened soul having this human experience, in my case, in this body as Chantal, with this uh, history and story in this life, and this name and this family and so on, right? In your case, in your body, with your experiences and all the stuff, and trusting that our soul just wants to experience it. Our soul has no meaning about that, but the meaning and judging is a part of the game. And that we are invited today in this new age to see that and to learn to remove it is also part of the game. It's the part of the expanded awareness game. It's a part of this new age game. I'm not religious, by the way. I'm not in a specific group or something like that. It's just spiritual talk here. I'm neutral. I just talk with the words I get from spirit world, from my soul, and from God experienced itself. God is experiencing himself through our souls and our life. And I know I remember when Robert actually told us, I had a specific name, TCE, for as a name for God, because he told he's not believing in God. I'm not sure if this is still true for him, but he told this like that, and he had an acronym like TCE, is experience itself through our soul and this life. And the more I do this work, not only helping experienced entrepreneurs and leaders to receive from their soul their true purpose and monetizing it and having so much fun on this 3D planet Earth and having so much fun learning, dealing and managing more awareness and literally taking it in our hands to lead the energies, aka emotions and feelings, to literally create and invent. If you want, you can take the word invent our true desired life. And I can tell you, looking back a few years ago, I would literally got angry listening to something like that. And I get it. This was also a true version of mine. When I remember back, I was so aligned. I was so congruent with my life at that time. It was beautifully perfect, but I had at the time this idea that I cannot lead my life into the direction of my true desires. Why? It was in the middle of my 30 years chronic illnesses. I had several. I had to deal with several, and with every year it got worse. And I could not understand how, in one way, God would want that, or even my soul would want that, all this suffering. And it got worse and worse and worse. And literally no one wanted to help me or believe me. Looking back, I know what I had. I suffered under endometriosis and adenomyosis. For some of you, it's probably also a topic. I often attract those beautiful leaders and entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs having that as well. But it's not necessary. I didn't know it. I didn't know it until one of the last years. And I always had to hear that I invent the stories, I invent the pain, and I'm just too lazy and all the stuff. I don't go there anymore. But just to tell you, I had cancer with 14, 2.5 kilo tumor has been removed from my belly. And then it started, all this journey. And since 6 years, I'm healthy. I'm so thankful and happy about that. And I can hardly believe it, and I would not believe it in all these years before, but it started with a decision. But it's also, and that's what I really, really believe, and it's not a self-sabotage act, it's also about your soul path. If it's meant for you to get these powerful tools in your hands and it would work earlier in your life, then it's meant for you and it would work. And if it's meant for you that it's coming into your hands later in your life, like in my case, then it's meant for you. So this is also like an hidden agenda, but hardly no one out there is talking about that. Especially my colleagues in the quantum manifestation space. In this industry, I actually never met someone who talked about the soul path and that it's possible that we do everything right, all the inner work, all this nervous system work, and still the manifestation is not happening. The happiness is not coming. The wealth is not coming and establishing yet. That's important, this word. And this is why you are on your soul path. Hopefully, we can actually do some things that and learn to really be on our soul path. Sometimes we are just distracted and do some loops, right? It's like you imagine that you are in a car, driving the car on an autoroute, a fast lane from, let's say, from Bern to Zurich, and then you are fast, right? If there is no traffic, it's 2 hours about, or even faster. But if we decide to step out the fast lane for a drink, for a break, for toilet, washroom, whatever, and then we see the nature, and then we are inspired, and we think, oh, let's stay here for a night or two and just enjoy the nature. That's okay. But often people then don't find the way back to the fast lane. They literally get lost in all these pathways through small mountains and from one valley to the others. I actually know it from in Switzerland between Bern and Zurich. There are so many valleys and so many little mountains, and you can literally distract yourself for weeks when you don't know how to go back to the fast lane. And sometimes it's just in life like the same thing. And then I hear from my clients or from potential clients or from past clients, but Chantal, I don't know what the problem is because I'm also happy. It's so beautiful taking another loop or being distracted from nature or from the valleys. I have so many beautiful experiences with people, and I have so many beautiful days and blah, 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 blah. Of course, it's no contradiction. You can have that. You can have um, a point of view to the distraction, which is telling you it's good, it's feeling good, it's everything okay. It's always possible. It was also Robert Scheinfeld telling us we always tell ourselves lies, illusions, and stories. And this is actually another term for the meaning. It's another term for a judgment. When we tell ourselves literally stories, and I actually got very angry when he told us it's not only stories, it's also lies and illusions. And then I told him, okay, I can get the illusion part, but not the lies part, because he was literally telling me that I lie to myself. And I was so clear about that I'm not lying. You know what I mean? And of course, it's also no contradiction. We can be the purest human being and still unconsciously lying to us. Why? Because we are not on our true path. And when we are not on our true path, which is the fast lane to our true desires, which is meant for this life, to experience for this life, then we are not in our truth. And when we are not in our truth, in our middle center, in our place at home, then we are beside the truth, and there is the lying. And then it makes sense, right? I had literally to think about that from this point of view to realize, okay, I got it when he tells me it's a lie, illusion, and a story. So back to my ridiculous happiness. There are several reasons. I think one reason is definitively that I train that saying since years now. That's one. And that I also train to be fine with it when I don't feel happiness. That I don't judge about me, that I'm not creating guilt, being ashamed, or thinking I failed. I really learned to go with that as well and just observing again, right? The pure experience. And I learned what he taught us. The longer you do that, the better you do it. And the more automated it is, because we are habit animals, right? I talk about that very often in other videos. Go back and grab them. We are habit animals. And the habits are stored in patterns in the subconscious within us. And this makes this duality in this human experience so fascinating. So the more I actually train myself in this part where I want to be, even if my brain is telling me that's not fact, that's not the truth, look outside, look at the others, listen to the others, I actually know that's exactly what is not helping me. The more I surround myself with things which actually nurture my true desires, the more I allow my identity to grow and to feel how I want to feel, not only with feelings and emotions, but also through my body. That's why it's called embodiment. So I literally collapse times. It doesn't matter anymore, was it yesterday, today, or tomorrow? It doesn't matter anymore. It's literally Delulu. And it doesn't matter anymore about the facts, because in the end, the only thing what counts is what you perceive and how you feel and what your truth is. I remember on a specific situation when I was a K9 officer in Zurich. It's a long time ago, in my 20s. And we had a lot to do with people. You could call them Delulu or just weird people, right? Telling weird stuff. And they were not able to work and to be in yes, a part of society. And we had at the time really a big problem because the institutions, these were like hospitals, I don't know the name in English, they were full, fully booked. We could not bring more people from the street or from the situations where they got police involved to these institutions because they just were full. And I realized the more I tune in to their world and their belief systems, what they mostly told us, they had often to tell a lot of things. The more I tuned in and really listened and imagined myself, I give everything now to understand and to feel what they tell me. The more they felt understood and heard, and the more they got calm and calmer and calmer, and the easier it was to bring them back to their daily life. And I had some colleagues, they could not understand that. And some colleagues, they just made the memory, okay, she has a literally, we say in German, ein Händchen. She has literally the hand for such people. Every time when I have such a situation, I call her and she's dealing with that. And this is the Lulu part. For those people, it was just the truth. And the more someone wanted to explain that's not the truth and having right, having the meaning to have the right to tell them what is the truth, the more they got angry. But the less resistance there, the easier it was to calm down the energies and to really talk with them. By the way, I made videos about resistance and how we can use it as a trampoline. Go back to the Daily Life Challenge, you will find them. So this is about the Delulu part. Once I had a mentor told us, sometimes we really don't know if we dream through the day or really dream in the nights. We think we obviously dream in the nights, right? But who tells us? Probably it's the other way around. We don't know it. We actually cannot prove it. Another statement was also very impressive for me. I think it was from Peter Klein. He wrote the book 30 Lies About Money, something like that. 30 Dirty Lies About Money. I can recommend that. Very, very good book. And I think it was from him, this statement that everything what we believe as a society is actually an agreement about what we want to believe. And we can change these belief systems every time, especially around money. Yeah, it was him. Around money. It's our agreement how much worth $1 or 1 Swiss franc is, or whatever currency. it's an agreement and we say yes. And as long as everyone is playing this game, it's working. We will actually learn more about that in the society and in the whole world in the next few years. I'm very sure about that. We will have, speaking of new age, totally new agreements about dealing, about business making, about currencies, about the worth of currencies, and so on. I'm very sure that we will have a, a completely new change, and that we can literally decide how we want to have the new world. And that's why it gets very exciting on this channel in the next days, weeks, months, and years. And I can only recommend you to follow me and to stick with every video. I prepare something which is outstanding and through the roof. Things I channeled 10 years or longer before. I just prepared this afternoon something. I tell you, it's an ebook I got as a download from Spirit World in 2016, 10 years ago. An ebook called Leader of the New Age. Leadership of the New Age. Female leadership of the New Age. It's in German, Leader in der neuen Zeit. And Spirit World told me after the download, this book is not for everyone and don't just give it away. It's worth more than $700. We will guide you and you will know when you use it. And now it's time. And this is fascinating. I got archetypes, I got dimensions, I got layers of depth. Very fascinating. I already used it in 2 group programs. One was 10 years ago and the other was about 4 years ago. It's amazing. It's amazing. But now it makes sense, and it has a lot to do with YouTube and a lot to do with our imagination and a lot to do with our own methodologies to help our clients. And I will show you that how my methodologies are working through our imagination and excitement and sense of playing and having fun. And I will also help my clients to download their own creative world and mythology. And you can literally witness all that. It's gonna be exciting. And this happiness today is one part because I studied this book again and had deep conversations with Claude about that, and with the GPT of my mentor Arlan. And I also had very good conversation with a VIP client yesterday actually as well, right, Barbara? But today again with another. This is mind-blowing. It's touching me so deep, especially when I see what is possible, what is so much more possible for me and my clients because I am open to AI. And I help my clients as well to stick with AI, but not as a search machine, not as a oracle tool or something like that. I actually will prove that we can use AI for tarot. I prepared that since 3 years, but not as an oracle, but as a mirror of your uniqueness. It's very touching, right? This will come, everything will come. I can't wait for that. And it makes me so ridiculous happy. I was about 3 hours ago, I finished my work. I was in the neighbor hotel over there. I'm sometimes there and working there in the lobby. Finished my work and felt I want to grab a dinner in my favorite bar. Went there, enjoyed the evening, and I sat there and was just so happy and thankful. And then the dinner was so delicious and healthy. I made some notes and prepared tomorrow. Then I grabbed my things and walked at home. And then I saw my home from outside. And I entered through the reception, took the lift, and I just was so happy and touched. I entered this apartment. I live here now, the second year. It's almost the third, starting in summer. I'm so thankful for this apartment and this environment, and that I was so brave to move to Dubai, no matter what the circumstances were and still are sometimes. But being brave enough to change the language also for my clients. I'm so proud of my clients because they are literally forced to speak English with me in my communities. Of course, when we are alone in calls, we don't do that, right? We speak German, Swiss German, or English, whatever my clients is speaking. But yes, we are also brave when we decide to stick with our true mission, our true soul calling, and feel that we must overcome our lack money mindset, and that it's literally our duty to monetize our true mission so that we can help and come together with all these millions of other leaders and entrepreneurs out there which has the same calling, a similar calling, to come together and to create this new economy. And I want to end with that today because this is actually the word, yes, and the word, the new economy. It's about that. And we literally start to create it and to design it because we combine not only digitalization and AI with energy work, but also we are so brave to leave conditioning, old conditionings, environments, even if they are full of love, to just go with our truth, with our soul purpose. That's a number. We say that in German. Es ist eine Nummer. It's not easy, right? But it is. And it makes so happy. It's not about a lot of money. It's not about money. It's not about health or being healthy, but I'm really thankful to be healthy now. I'm in the best condition I ever was in my whole life. I can say that. And I'm 51. It's such a miracle. It's not about that. It's not about she has that or you have that. No wonder you can do that. It's not about that. It's just about really sticking with my truth and doing the work and go for it. And the more we literally rewire our brain with the Lulu, with our unique Lulu, right? With our unique true desires and go for that, not based on a war, inner war, a fight, but based on faith, faith, That's a word, right? Faith, based on our intuition, which is a language of our soul. And this is our truth. And this is you. Please share with me your thoughts. Share with me your gems and ahas. Listening to me, listening to this happiness call. And if you are experienced entrepreneur, probably you also already sold your business, had an exit, or the business is just working for you, and you are literally asking yourself what your true purpose is, what is more meaning in your life, and how can you monetize it. Then I'm your person. You're right here. You get the invitation, grab the link from my WhatsApp in the video, below under the video, and contact me. Let's chat. It's gonna be so fun. I love it. I love it so much, and I love you. And it's gonna be very interesting. A lot of things change here, and I will invite you in a new world, which I actually prepared since so many years. Can't wait. Good night. Bye.